Hello everybody and welcome back to another Tomb Tuesday breakdown video. First, let's take a look at the numbers. TVL locked 782 yesterday. It did reach 800 million, but it was briefly brought down from there in 779 and climbing. Tomb price 294 with the current price 131 FTM. T-share sitting at 16,124. T-bonds all the way up to 348. All right, let's get into the announcement over here. So we start with the price predictions from Harry, 1 Tomb, 2 FTM, 1 T-share, 1 YFI. And then we go into more housekeeping terminology about what we're talking about with short-term, long-term, mid-term, and the like. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Single-sided Tomb staking to play a key part in the new centralized exchange powered by Binance. So this is talking about the Binance Cloud SEX that we've mentioned many times before. It is on its way, and when it does get here, we will have a lot of information to cover, but that is still in play, so something that I want to bring up again. Launch of Life. Now, this is new. The launch of Life, the reserve currency partnering with Tomb Finance. This is a really big deal, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go along this video. These are sort of highlights over here on the business side of things. And then Tomb has collateral by the end of next week, and seeing liquidity on Polygon, Avalanche, Ethereum, and BSC, the Binance Smart Chain. Moving along, we come over here and we are talking about where TVL has reached number 4. So let's go over and take a look at that on Defi Llama. Right here, Tomb Finance sitting at number 4. Really, really, really impressive. This time last week, I think we were sitting around 400. So to almost double that, in a sense, you briefly did double it yesterday, is really insane. Let's take a look at the numbers over here as we look at the three major assets. At the peak, T-share was 555 million, Phantom 142 million, and Tomb $99 million. So really impressive stuff by everybody involved, the community, the team, everybody hard at work that is working with Tomb. And then over here, another reminder about auto compounders, talking about Grim Finance and Reaper, with some links below to get those on there for either single staking or LP staking. A lot of questions come up. Are these vaults in competition with Tomb? That is not the way it works. If Grim Finance, if you're going to use Grim Finance and you're going to use a vault on Grim Finance, they're going to use the vaults on Tomb's site. That's how that works. They simply provide a service to put it all into code so that they compound it for you instead of you having to go do that manually. So hopefully that will address any further questions that we get on that topic. All right, moving on to the meats of the Tomb Tuesday here. Tomb is life. Life is Tomb. Now, we've heard that before, but now it makes a lot more sense. New protocol launching soon on Phantom in partnership with Tomb Finance. Our teams are developing a reserve currency called Life. The Life protocol will be similar to Olympus or Wonderland and will provide additional utility for Tomb, while also allowing the Life DAO to own its own utility and build out its treasury. For those of you that aren't familiar with Olympus and Ohm or Wonderland and Time, it's a very unique system which allows, or essentially is the birth of DeFi 2.0. We're not going to go into a ton of detail on it right now. We will talk about what Harry mentions over here. Here's how it works. Users will be able to trade specific LPs for discounted Life tokens. Picture a Life token and then picture a discount on that Life token if you are to purchase that Life token with, say, Phantom Tomb LP. Very interesting. These Life tokens will be vested over a period of time while earning interest. So you'll earn interest while it's locked. You're not allowed to do anything with it, and that period of time is not determined at the moment. Once the vesting period is over, the user can then stake their Life for higher yields on the Life protocol. Now, the LPs that they're going to start with include Life, Tomb, FTM, and Mai. So going back to last week where we talked about Mai being a very important piece of the economic tomb puzzle here. Here it shows up once again as Mai, FTM, Tomb, and Life are all going to be very important in order to get discounted Life tokens. All right, now, how does that help Tomb? How does it directly help Tomb? Protocol owned liquidity versus renting liquidity, right? Renting liquidity is what a majority of protocols do. Life will own a lot of Tomb liquidity, so it's going to own the liquidity. When you trade in your, let's say your LP, your FTM Tomb LP, Life is going to keep that. Life is going to add that to the treasury. It's going to add it to the treasury DAO. Treasury DAO is going to build, and as the treasury DAO builds, that is liquidity that Life can then essentially do whatever they want with it. The liquidity will be protocol owned and remain long term without Tomb having to provide any incentives for it. So in other words, no discount given to Life in order to grab the Tomb in the first place, and there's no need to, because as the discounts are given on the Life side, you can maintain your full Tomb, you send your Tomb over, you get discounted Life, and then Life is going to hold onto that Tomb for a very long period of time by creating liquidity with it. All right, it generates use cases for Tomb. Again, if you have a Tomb or a Tomb FTM LP and that becomes a primary way to get a discount on your Life tokens, well, that is just another use case for not only Tomb, but for FTM as well. Move liquidity where it's needed. So by owning the liquidity, we can move the liquidity to where it is most useful for Tomb. Now, this will help on the path to a Chainlink Oracle for Tomb. And again, we bring up that Chainlink Oracle again because it's such an integral part of what's going on with the entire ecosystem. With a really big picture, you're going to want your feed over here. So networks, Phantom Opera, this is the Chainlink Oracle data feeds. Now, what we want to be able to see here is Tomb. We want to be able to see Tomb USD on here so that we can get a data feed, and then we can use that data feed in other things. And that goes on down here to vaults and collateral. Now, the road to Tomb as collateral. By the end of this week or next, Tomb should be added to the lending protocol Market.xyz. We spoke about that last week. Tomb holders will be able to borrow the stablecoin Mai against their Tomb. Now, what this does is, this says, okay, I have $10,000 worth of Tomb. I go onto the Mai site, maybe I borrow $5,000. I don't have to sell my Tomb, which means I don't lose my Tomb exposure, and I have an additional $5,000 in Mai that I can now use on something else, maybe to buy Life. Who knows? Right? So that idea of collateral is once again another use case, another very good use case for Tomb. All right, working to get the Chainlink Oracle. These 2 weeks, we will seed a few million in Tomb Mai liquidity to DEXs on Polygon and Avalanche. If you're not familiar with Polygon, Polygon is Matic. So you're talking about Matic, Polygon, and you're talking about Avalanche, right? So two very important DEXs. Having liquidity on multiple DEXs, including ones cross-chain, will help towards getting Tomb the Chainlink price feed, which again is the short-term goal here, is to get that Chainlink Oracle. So as Life builds up protocol-owned liquidity, we'll be able to move liquidity to where it is most helpful for the Chainlink Oracle. You have to take a step back and take a look at the entire picture, the bigger picture here. Tomb to become the main coin of an FTM exchange, the main exchange of method, or the methodology in order to exchange from one token to another token. So consider like a almost like a BNB as compared to Binance. So it's very important. All of these steps are in order to get that situation going. Once Tomb receives the Chainlink Oracle, we'll be able to generate more use cases such as Tomb FTM LPs or interest-bearing Tomb as collateral. All right, and that was this right here. So this is what you're looking at for Market.xyz. So again, you want something over here that has Tomb on it. Moving on, he does talk about FTMPAD, which is this right here. This is the older version of FTMPAD. Things are happening in the background, and when they do become available, then we'll know more about that. So we'll be able to bring that to you once they talk about it, but for now, FTMPAD, They did mention last week the cat theme FTMPAD. This is going to be likely this token right here. Does not have a name or a ticker yet, but we are anxiously waiting to get some more information on that. And when we do, of course, we will share it with everybody. All right, and last but not least, the Tomb team and community management. Our good friend Scratchy is handing over the reins, community management over to Coma, and he's going to be moving on to other projects. Scratchy, from the bottom of everybody's hearts, we will miss you, and we wish you the very best of luck in every one of your endeavors. Coma has essentially already been the community manager for quite some time. He's crushing it on a day-to-day basis, so we are very thankful that Coma remains in that position, and he will always be there to help anybody on Tomb. That will wrap it up for Tomb Tuesday, November 30th, 2021. Keep calm and Tomb on.